Hey, today with us, we're honored and really, this is such an honor to have Joseph Oldham with us today. He's the interim sustainability manager for the city of Fresno, but more important, just like Frank Sinatra was the chairman of the board, Joseph is the chairman of the Fresno Green Team, and he's done so much here as really, he's one of these quiet heroes of the city of Fresno, and he's done so much that people really have never heard about or even know about and don't know of his involvement. And Joseph, I'm not even going to start talking about it all because your resume and your bio is huge. I want to just talk to you about everything, and welcome today. Welcome to be here today on Green is Good with myself and with Mike Brady.
Oh, thank you very much, John. It's a pleasure for me to be here today, and that was a very flattering introduction.
Well, it's all true, and like we just talked about a little bit before we introduce you, that one quiet fact is Fresno leads the nation in recycling. You know, tell us about that a little bit. How did you do that?
Well, we've got a very dedicated team of folks within our Department of Public Utilities who have been very active for many years. Starting about 2000, we went to a 3-can collection system. Most of the residents of the city of Fresno remember that period of time where they received basically a gray, a green, and a blue can. And the green and the blue cans were for recyclable materials, green for green waste and blue for the plastics and other recyclable materials besides green waste. And the community has really responded extremely well. The campaign with our Department of Public Utilities in terms of public education and outreach has gone along extremely well, and the public has been very responsive, and we've just been very, very diligent, and we were very pleased to see that we were the top city in the country for diversion at over 70% diversion rate. And
just give me the quick number. So over 70%. I thought I saw 74. Tell us where you started. What was the number when you took this over and when we started the 3-can system?
Well, I mean, basically, we started the 3-can system in about 2000, and I was my involvement back in those days was really working on acquiring the trucks and the equipment that was necessary, because we had to increase the size of the fleet to accommodate basically 3 vehicles going into each neighborhood, every week to acquire the cans and then to take the materials.
Joseph, I'm going to cut you off. I want to hear the story, but we're going to do it right when we come back from this commercial message.
Okay, great.
Thanks so much. Come on back to Green is Good.
If a little green is good, more is even better. Now, back to Green is Good with John Shigarian and Mike Brady.
Hey, we're back here with Joseph Oldham, who's the chairman of the Fresno Green Team and the interim sustainability manager in the city of Fresno. And Joseph is now going to finish telling us how he helped take Fresno to the #1 city in America in terms of recycling. Joseph, I know I cut you off a little bit when we were going out to commercial. Tell us again where you started in terms of what was our recycling rate when you took the program over and you started getting us to the 3-can system, and how did you get us from there to 74%?
Well, let me make it really clear
Sure.
that the entire effort to with the 3-can system and where we've come from has been a full team effort. I've not been the lead on that effort by any sense of the the entire project.
Right.
I mean, our Department of Public Utilities has had tremendous leadership. Our current director, Rena Ramirez, and his team, currently headed by Bill O'Brien, our assistant director of solid waste, and Robert Weekly, their chief of operations. Really, those are the guys that were doing the job. They were the ones that put the program in place. My current position as chairman of our Green Team is really just a position of coordination and working to coordinate our future efforts.
Gotcha.
The city, I was proud to be a part of that whole effort, and certainly, I played a role as the vehicle acquisition supervisor at the time, of acquiring the vehicles that were necessary, and was certainly active involved with the program.
And when you guys all collaboratively worked together, where did you start? What was our recycling rate when you started this? And I know we're about 74 now, so give us the real number. Like, how far did you go?
I don't recall the exact percentage, and when we started, I recall it was somewhere around 30%.
Wow.
We had I could be off a little bit on those percentages.
Sure.
Our folks with solid waste, the solid waste division, know those numbers, are right off the top, because they're living that every single day, and they were the real heroes of this deal.
Sure.
They and the community responded to move us to this position. We had a collection system that was very much like what Clovis currently has, where small containers were set out along with the regular, like, large garbage cans, where people could put just small quantities of recyclables every week. And, they recognized that they needed to take that to the next level, in order to achieve the diversion rates that were mandated by the state. It really entailed a much more massive program, and that's where we started into the 3-can system starting in 2000.
So and we're going to go on to, we have so many issues to cover today with you.
Sure.
But what's your takeaway from that other sustainability managers who are going to listen from across America? What's the message there, that collaboratively they can turn around their city in terms of their green and sustainability initiatives if they work together?
Oh, absolutely. That's the whole focus behind our Fresno Green program. It was a program that evolved from all of the individual interdepartmental efforts that had been going on for years in moving our city towards a more environmental responsible, community, and recognition by the administration and the city council that we needed a more collaborative effort, even beyond what we had been doing up to that point. So starting in 2007, the Fresno Green Team was formed, and it was an interdepartmental group bringing together basically players from within all of the departments that were involved with environmental activities, our Public Works Department, our Department of Public Utilities, which was huge in terms of their involvement, our fire department, our, all of the departments, and our planning and development department was key. They were one of the leaders in developing the Fresno Green program. In fact, it was kind of the brainchild of our planning and development assistant director at the time, Keith Berchtold, was kind of the one that was really one of the ones that pioneered the Fresno Green Team.
Joseph, Mike and I did a show a couple weeks back on the quality of air in the valley, and that's been talked about a lot. We have one of the most challenging air quality rates in America. We lead the nation in this in recycling, but our air quality has suffered greatly. I want you to share with our listeners today what you're doing and what your team is doing to turn it around, because I know your efforts are massive, and I know you're really focused on this issue.
Yes, it's been a major issue for the city of Fresno for many years. We've known, as well as everyone in the valley has known, that air quality is a real problem here. It's primarily due to our climate and our topography. We're surrounded on 3 sides by mountain ranges, and we sit in a valley that has extremely high temperatures in the summertime, and then we get these inversion layers that set in during the wintertime that trap pollutants near the ground. So, our topography and our geography and our climate has set us up for, perhaps one of the worst air quality basin, areas in the world, actually. And so, faced with that challenge and the growth that we have in the region, the city of Fresno, being the largest city in the valley, in the San Joaquin Valley, early on recognized that we had to take a leadership role. So for many years we've been working on deployment of alternative fuel vehicles and employing emission reduction technologies, retrofitting existing vehicles with after-treatment devices that reduce diesel soot by as much as 95%, early compliance with California Air Resources Board regulations for public fleets, as well as refuse fleets and transit fleets. We have the largest alternative fuel vehicle fleet in the San Joaquin Valley. 103 out of 145 of our refuse trucks currently operate on clean-burning natural gas, and over 50% of our transit buses operate on clean-burning natural gas, with the balance of those two fleets, all that are still diesels, equipped with exhaust after-treatment devices that reduce particulate matter by over 90-some%.
So, Joseph, I want you to ask. I want Mike. I want to ask Mike a question here, because I didn't learn this until you and I started talking together. Mike, Joseph has a great secret to share with our listeners today. Something he's done with the city of Fresno. Have you ever heard about the traffic synchronization?
The traffic synchronization, yeah. I became aware of that when I first moved up here from Southern California.
Okay. And Joseph, why don't you tell us what you've been doing with that recently, and some of the great kept secrets on what streets here in Fresno and the Central Valley have been synchronized, and what that means with regards to our air quality?
Sure. It's actually a great project. Our Public Works Department has they have absolutely been the lead. Brian Jones, our traffic engineer, and Scott Mosier, as well as Patrick Weimiller, our public works director, all deserve tremendous kudos for this project. They already have gotten Herndon, Blackstone, Chestnut, and the Kings Canyon corridor are already synchronized. One of the favorite corridors that I like to actually use is the Herndon corridor. And on that corridor, we've actually had some analysis done on the emission reductions and the fuel savings along that corridor. And here's some interesting statistics. Just regarding the emissions that are responsible for our summertime ozone, nitrous oxides and volatile organic compounds, over 60 metric tons of nitrous oxides are being reduced through the Herndon synchronization, and over 75 metric tons of volatile organic compounds are reduced from that project. Travel times have been improved up to 18%, and the analysis as far as fuel savings for all of the vehicles that use that corridor because of the synchronization, 1.5 million gallons of fuel savings annually for the folks that drive that corridor on a regular basis, just because the synchronization program is completed and those lights are such that you can drive at a steady speed along that corridor without stopping and starting.
So it's safe to say that the traffic synchronization program in Fresno has been a smashing success.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'd use the word smashing so much when you're talking about traffic.
Okay.
But it's been a great success in terms of the ability to reduce emissions and to help as far as the economic benefits and saving fuel for the citizens of the city. And the fact is, the plans are, in the works, and work is underway right now to basically synchronize every corridor in the city of Fresno within the next 5 years. And, our Public Works Department has been diligent with this project, and really they are the unsung heroes of making Fresno a more efficient and, less polluting city as far as that goes.
Joseph, we have a couple minutes left, and I want you to, solar's been in the news, national news, and even the local news a lot. I want you to talk about a couple of your most favorite solar power initiatives here in the Central Valley and in Fresno, and then I want you to leave our listeners today. Mike and I are always interested in how people can change their lives and change their behaviors to make this a better world and to help make green really be good. And so we want you to leave today with some energy conservation tips for our Fresno residents on what they could do, which are going to be applicable for really any residents that are listening to us here in the United States, on how they could save energy. So tell us a little bit about solar. Give us your couple of favorite initiatives. What are you doing with solar power here in the Central Valley?
Well, the city of Fresno has been a really a leader in deployment of large solar arrays. Back in 2003, we put a 680 kilowatt rated solar power array on our municipal service center to reduce the demand for power from the grid for that facility. That's been very, very successful. In fact, folks can go to our city website and they can actually see a real-time readout of all of the power that facility has produced since it was put in place, as well as the savings associated with that for the city. And then about a year or so ago, our airports actually deployed the largest solar power array of any airport in the country. It's a little over 2 megawatts in size. The panels are being installed as we speak. And, you know, it was part of a renovation project for the airport as far as their rental car facility, and they utilized a lot of the land available around the airport, and that's been a huge project. You know, one of our partners in sustainability, one of our key partners in sustainability efforts is California State University, Fresno, and last year they put up a very large 1 megawatt solar power array next to the Save Mart Center there along Shaw. If you drive along Shaw just to the west of the Save Mart Center, you'll see some covered parking area along there, and that's actually a solar power array that provides power for the campus as well as shade for cars that are parked in that parking lot.
Well, so we're going to be leading the nation also in solar power, and just like we are in recycling in many ways. Now, we have about a minute left. Give us a couple of energy conservation tips for the great residents of Fresno.
Well, the main thing is to just take energy, consider energy as you know, a very valuable and limited resource that it truly is. You know, in terms of fuel, you know, drive at the speed limit. Don't do jackrabbit starts and stops. That wastes a tremendous amount of fuel. Driving at the speed limit can save you 2 to 3 miles per gallon or more. Consolidate your trips. Don't make a bunch of small trips to get things. Think about kind of what you need and make one trip do it all. Around your home, consider replacing all of your lights in your home as best you can with compact fluorescent bulbs, remembering, though, that compact fluorescents do contain mercury and that they have to be disposed of in a proper fashion, and so it's not something you can just throw into the trash. But compact fluorescents and energy-efficient lighting are a major way to save power. And then just doing the little things, like when you walk out of the room, turn the light switch off. Remember, if you've got drippy faucets, fix those. If you've got a leaking toilet float, you know, try to fix that, because all of that costs energy, and it's important that we conserve, and everybody doing their bit can save a lot.
And that's why Mike and I are here at Green is Good, and that's why you are an unsung hero here in Fresno and across America. And we're proud and honored to have the chairman of the Fresno Green Team and the interim sustainability manager, Joseph Oldham, as our guest. And Joseph, if I could ask you, can you come back again? Because you have so much to share. Will you come back again on our show?
Sure, we'd be happy to. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. And Mike, that's it for us today.
All right. Well, John, Joseph, thank you so much, and we will catch you next time, same place.